making. These gains must now be consolidated. We must also remain attentive to areas that require further strengthening. Digital system or institutional alignment. As we are preparing to sign performance contracts for the coming year, let us therefore be driven not by the fear of underperformance, but by the desire to exceed expectations. Let our motivation be the citizen who benefits from improved services, the child learning in a better classroom, the farmer achieving higher productivity, the entrepreneur finding opportunity, the patient improved healthcare, and the communities experiencing improved infrastructure. Before I conclude, allow me to express on behalf of the public and the government architecture our deepest appreciation to His Excellency the President. Your visionary leadership in instituting and personally presiding over this performance management system has established a powerful culture of in our unwavering commitment to measurable results continues to inspire the entire public sector. Your Excellency, we thank you for leading by example. As we proceed with today's signing and award ceremony, let every signature represent a declaration of intent. Let every commitment reflect our shared resolve to advance national development. Let every recognition of excellence inspire even greater achievements across public service. Again, welcome to you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Welcome remarks. We can now get into the business of the day. Our program today has two key components. The first being the awards, understanding and hearing evaluation 2020-25 performance. The second component is the signing of the contract 26. So as we enter the first segment, I'd like to welcome to the podium Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Rushwaya, to give us the announcement of the evaluation results 2020-25 performance.
Contracting framework is a cornerstone of the national agenda to strengthen service delivery, improve governance, and ensure that public institutions remain focused on delivering tangible outcomes for the citizens. Over the past 5 years, ministers, permanent secretaries, and heads of public entities have signed performance contracts, including those from independent commissions. Deputy ministers, deputy chief secretaries, and public service commissioners were included in 2025 fiscal year. This initiative has institutionalized a culture of measurable results across the public sector. The objective of this initiative is to strengthen accountability, improve service delivery, and ensure alignment of institutional activities with national development priorities. Performance contracts establish clear outputs, outcomes, and service delivery standards for each public institution. They also provide a transparent mechanism for monitoring performance across government and reinforcing leadership accountability. Overview of the performance contracting framework. The performance contracting system is designed to ensure that leaders across government are held accountable for delivering on national development priorities. The objectives of the performance contracting framework include: 1, evaluating the performance of heads of ministries, departments, and agencies against agreed targets. 2, measuring efficiency and effectiveness in the use of public resources. 3, monitoring progress in service delivery to citizens. 4, strengthening organizational development and funding of national reforms and cross-cutting government priorities. Independent evaluation process. To preserve the credibility and integrity of the system, government appointed an independent consultant responsible for evaluating the performance of public sector leaders against the commitments outlined in their signed performance contracts. Throughout 2025, the consultant did the following: 1, conducted quarterly performance reviews for ministries, entities, state universities, independent commissions, and both urban and rural local authorities. 2, produced sectoral performance assessments. 3, submitted a consolidated national performance report to government. Each institution was evaluated across key performance areas. 1, delivery of institutional mandate, agreed outcomes. 2, resources. 4, organizational development and capacity building. 5, public enterprise and local authority reforms. 6, implementation of cross-cutting priorities. These evaluations ensure that public institutions remain results-driven and accountable to the people of Zimbabwe. Performance rating methodology. Performance across all entities was assessed using a structured rating scale ranging from 1 to 6, with a rating of 6 described as clearly exceeds set targets, performance is significantly beyond targets and outside the standard positive variance. A 5, above set targets, performance exceeds targets but remains within the standard positive variance limit. A 4, it means met all agreed set targets, performance aligns precisely with the agreed objectives and targets. A 3 means below set targets within variance, missed the targets but within acceptable variance on a positive trajectory to recover. A 2, below set targets, below the variance, performance is below, corrective action plans are required immediately. A 1, nothing was accomplished, critical failure to deliver on agreed outputs, immediate leadership intervention needed. Based on these ratings, entities were classified into 4 performance categories. Category 1, exceeded expectations. Category 2, met all targets. Category 3, below targets. Category 4, below targets, outside acceptable variance. The framework ensures fair, transparent, and consistent assessment across all institutions. Key insights from the 2025 performance evaluation. One, central government ministries recorded stable performance with the majority meeting agreed targets. Two, state universities demonstrated the strongest performance across all evaluated sectors. State-owned entities showed moderate improvements, governance strengthening. Local authorities remain the weakest performing sector with structural and operational challenges. The performance contracting framework continues to strengthen leadership accountability across government. Overall performance trends for 2025. The 2025 steady improvement across several sectors of government, demonstrating progress in the institutionalization of performance management. Key highlights include, number one, the results for cabinet ministers. 25 ministers were evaluated, 20 met set targets, 5 were below set targets but within variance. Average score was 4.16, which represents a 0.24% improvement from the average score of 4.15 in fiscal year 2024. Two, results for permanent secretaries. 25 permanent secretaries were evaluated, 16 met set targets, 9 were below set targets but within variance. Average score for 25 was 4.04, and for 2024 it was the same 4.04. Results for deputy ministers. 26 deputy ministers were evaluated, 16 met set targets, 10 were below set targets but within variance. Average score was 4.05. Results for ministers of state for promotion. 10 provincial ministers were evaluated, 5 met set targets, 5 were below set targets but within variance. Average score was 4.15, which represents a 3.2% improvement from the average score of 4.02 in fiscal year 2024. Results for secretaries for provincial affairs and devolution. 10 secretaries were evaluated, 4 met set targets, 6 were below set targets but within variance. Average score was 4.02, which represents a 5.2 improvement from the average score of 3.82 in 2024. Results of 6 CEOs of state-owned enterprises. 120 heads were evaluated, 72, which is 60%, met set targets, 35, which is 29%, were below set targets but within variance. 13 were below set variance. Average score was 3.96, which represents a 0.3% marginal improvement from the average 5 in fiscal year 2024. Results of board chairpersons of state-owned enterprises. 107 chairpersons were evaluated, 57, which is 53%, met set targets, 44, which is 41%, were below set targets but within variance. 6, that is 6%, were below set targets and below variance. Average score was 3.88, which represents a 0.8% marginal improvement from the average score of 3.85 in fiscal year 2024. Results of vice chancellors. 13 vice chancellors were evaluated, 12 met set targets, 1 was below set target but within variance. Average score was 4.42. Results of council chairpersons of state-owned universities. 12 chairpersons were evaluated, 11 met set targets, 1 was below set targets but within variance. Average score was 4.25. Majority of universities showed strong institutional performance, showing that Zimbabwe's higher education institutions are performing strongly in supporting national innovation. 10, results of executive secretaries of independent commissions. 7 secretaries were evaluated, 3 met set targets within variance, 1 was below set target and below variance. Average score was 3.75, which represents a 3.6 marginal drop from the average score of 3.24. Results of board chairpersons of independent commissions. 7 chairpersons were evaluated, 3 met set targets, 4 were below set targets but within variance. Average score was 3.88, which represents marginal improvement from the average score of 3.80 in fiscal year 2024. Results for local authorities. A, rural local authorities. 60 rural local authorities were evaluated. The chief executive officers, 12, which is 23%, met set targets. 45, which is 74%, were below set targets but within variance. And 3, which is 3%, were below set targets and below variance. Average rating was 3.66, down by 2.1% from 3.74 in fiscal year 2024. Council chairpersons for rural district councils, 14, which is 28%, met set targets. 38, which is 63%, were below set targets but within variance. And 8, which is 9%, were below set targets and below variance. Urban local authorities, 32 urban local authorities were evaluated, over town clerks and chief executive officers. 6, which is 22%, met set targets. 23, which is 70%, were below set targets but within variance. And 3, which is 8%, were below set targets and below variance. Average rating was 3.52, down by 0.4 from the 3.5 financial year 24. For mayors and council chairpersons, 6, which is 22%, met set targets. 22, which is 68%, were below set targets but within variance. And 4, which is 10%, were below set targets and below variance. Average rating was 3.44, up by 3.92 from 3.31 in fiscal year 2024. For local authorities, urban and rural local authorities continue to experience performance challenges, with the majority falling below targets but within acceptable variance, highlighting areas requiring continued reform and support. These include low revenue collection, 45% non-revenue water, aging water and sewer infrastructure, lack of equipment and machinery, and also a non-payment culture by residents and organizations. These challenges severely affect service delivery in local authorities. However, the Minister of Local acknowledged at policy level for coming up with various reform initiatives that include the following: call to action, no compromise to safe reduction of minimum service delivery standards, establishment of an inspectorate department responsible for monitoring local authorities, and establishing of local unit, and also ensuring that key senior management posts are filled through the local government board. Let me now move to the recognition of top performing public sector leaders. Today's ceremony recognizes